Hello again, everyone, and welcome to a brand new edition of Zips Weekly with head football coach Joe Moorhead, brought to you each week by Brian Heating and Cooling and the Akron Fairlawn Hilton Hotel. Well, it's homecoming week here at Akron. If you're a Zip football fan, hope to see you at InfoCision Stadium. Saturday afternoon, another big Mid-American Conference game. Bowling Green is in town. That'll be the Zips against the Falcons at 3:30. There are a ton of activities all day long for homecoming, but hope to see you in the stadium at 3:30 as the Zips take on Bowling Green. We're going to take a look at last week's highlights in a minute. It'll be Ohio University against the Zips down in Peden Stadium. But Coach had an opportunity, as always, to talk to you after the game about momentum shifts. And boy, there was a huge one. We had the lead late in that first half. Unfortunately, the Bobcats go right down the field, and they take the lead at halftime. How big was that as far as momentum shifts in that football game?
Yeah, that sequence was actually our best example of complementary football that we played. Great series by the defense, got them the punt, moved it on offense, pinned them down inside the three, got a 3 and out, 20-yard punt return, short field, and we're able to score a touchdown there in the red zone. And then, unfortunately, they took the momentum back right there before the half. Yeah,
we had a chance to get back into the football game in that second half. I think we were down by 6 points a lot during that second half. I talked before the show about one critical call, the pass. They called it a forward pass. Explain to the fans exactly what that was, because when I watched it live from the press box, I didn't think it was a very good call.
Yeah, it was very, very difficult to discern, and we have the luxury of having the iPads on the sideline, and you're able to review the plays immediately. But unfortunately, when you go back and look at it, you pause it from where Ben let it go, and then you let it run and pause it again where Jake took it. It was the right call. It was forward.
Yeah, that was a tough one. That would have possibly got the Zips back in that game. Who knows what's going to happen as we roll into that fourth quarter. Right now, however, let's go back to Athens, Ohio. Peden Stadium, pep up action. Saturday, the Zips win the toss. They've done that a lot, Coach. You've got the defense on the field, and once again, your defense is going to come through and get that football back for the offense.
Yeah, great job. I'm not sure it was a 3 and out, but we got the stop. I let them drive a little bit and came out of the gate fast and forced the punt. Got a good sack there from one of our captains, Bennett Abbott.
I thought your defense early played really well, Coach. They were swarming. Navarro was the starting quarterback. He was dumped a lot, and I thought it was a really good effort early.
Yeah, first half it was defense did a good job, kind of minimizing some of the explosive plays and getting off the field on third down.
Pass there to Adrian Norton. Your first possession, Coach, I thought was picture perfect. You're going down the field, hitting passes, in rhythm. You're going to get a 49-yard field goal, but I thought that first possession was really good.
Yeah, the opening script and sequence, we're mixing up some runs and some RPOs, taking advantage of some of the off coverage, getting the ball out of our hand quickly. We were protecting well. Ben was making good reads, and we were able to move down the field and get some points on the board.
You're spreading it out. Adrian Norton, the number 1 receiver, but Jake Newell right now, the 6'4" sophomore tight end, has become really big, and we're going to see there a nice catch on the sidelines for another first down.
Yeah, Bobby Golden, he's got some opportunities as a starter this year, and the ball's gone his way. He's caught it and made some plays.
To cut that one off, Bobby Golden again into the Bobcat sidelines for a big play.
Yep, drove down in there, had a little bit of a missed assignment on a drop back pass and got us knocked back out of a down and distance where we could convert, and Garrison was able to come in and knock the field goal through.
Yeah, that was perfect from 49 yards out. And we'll talk about your special teams, Coach, in the third segment. But I thought, man, there's not many better special teams units overall in the league right now than what you've got.
Yeah, of our 3 phases right now, offense, defense, and special teams, Coach Mabico's doing a great job. They're playing with the most consistency and precision, and it showed in all 4 phases.
Nice play there by Devontae Golden. Nelson stepping in front and knocking that one down.
Yeah, Devontae had a nice game. They weren't really challenging our receivers or our corners on the outside as much. They were focusing on getting the ball to number 6 and moving him around, so the corners didn't have a ton of opportunities for PBUs.
Before that, we saw a nice catch there by Jarvis Rush, kid you brought in from junior college. I'm assuming he's getting a little better each game.
Yeah, he's banged up a little bit, been battling a lower body injury, so we've been weaning him back in, but good for him to get a touch. Kind of got banged up again during the course of the game.
Zips took the first quarter lead 3-0 on that 49-yard field goal, and again, the defense is going to continue to play well in the first half. Bobcats having a hard time getting anything going offensively. Again, good gang tackling there, and that's what you teach, right?
Yeah, between Brian and Fish and the safeties coming down to support, they did a good job. That Taj kid's one of the top backs in the league. You can see why he was at a school like Northwestern, and you know, we for the most part we did a good job containing him outside of a few runs.
Well, here's a key segment, Coach. Avery Book again pins the Bobcats deep. I think that's like a 55-yard punt down to the 2-yard line. You almost get a safety, and looking back, it's probably better you didn't because you got good field position and got a touchdown instead of 2.
Yeah, pinned him down at the 1, 3 and out, punt. Jordan Castleberry with a good return that we'll see here. And then 2 plays later, or 3 plays later, I think Ben found Jake Newell.
First time we've seen Jordan Castleberry really have room to run. He's quick.
Preferred walk-on kid from up in Cleveland. A couple different schools, walk-on at Michigan and then down at UT Chattanooga.
It's a great play call, Coach. And again, that's Jake Newell breaking open. We're going to watch it again from ground level. Yeah,
Jake really starting to break out. A guy that's practices well, prepares well, and plays with a lot of passion and fire, and it's shown in his production.
Yeah, he's a guy that you brought in. I think he played at Arizona State. You had a little bit of knowledge on him. I think he played high school ball in Oregon.
Yeah, he grew up in Oregon. His dad's the offensive coordinator of his high school. We recruited him a little bit when I was out at Oregon, and my son and he played on the same 7-on-7 organization. So we knew about Jake well before him going down to Arizona State.
That's a great pickup because he has turned into one of the better tight ends in the league. We're going to take a break, come back, and watch second half highlights from Ohio University right after this.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes E.H. Roberts Heating and Cooling. Find them at ehroberts.com.
Dear Dr. Kapler, you have shown over and over the immense love and passion that you have for developing not only great students, but more importantly, great humans.
That's beautiful. I absolutely feel the same way, not only about you, but about all my students.
It's so rare that you're going to meet someone that says, hey, you as a person, I care about you and I love you. And she does that for so many students.
Do I get to hug him? Yeah.
Okay, welcome back to Zips Weekly as we continue our conversation with head football coach Joe Moorhead. We're watching highlights from Saturday's game down in Athens. Zips against the Bobcats. Akron is down right now at the half, score of 14-10. Coach, we're going to get that second half kickoff very much in the football game. What are your thoughts now going into that second half on the road with a chance to win?
I mean, down 4 points with 30 minutes to play, and unfortunately we weren't able to generate anything offensively. We got skunked in the second half, and defense held a little bit, ended up giving up 2 touchdowns, but it was unfortunate to be in a position where you have a chance to find a way to win in the fourth quarter and couldn't get anything going on offense, and couldn't hold up on defense.
The one thing for the prospects I was watching, Coach, it was kind of frustrating. I'm sure it was to you. Navarro was an excellent tackle quarterback, but we missed a lot of tackles. God let him scramble and get out of some tough situations.
Yeah, I was kind of effusive of my praise in the defense post-game when we talked on the field, and going back and watching it with the defensive staff, probably said that because it was in comparison to the offense, who wasn't nearly close to being good enough. But as you mentioned, we had 25 missed tackles. That's what the total was. Let Navarro scoot out of there a few times. Had some blown coverages on the back end, and really, if you're going to play elite defense, that wasn't what we needed to get done. But once again, it was with no help from the offense either.
Then we're going to see big Marcus Moore, the sophomore from Massillon, with the fumble recovery, going to get the Zips right back. And we're right in this football game, Coach. It's 16-10. And I know you always say you like to look up at the scoreboard in the second half with a chance to win. We were there.
Yeah, unfortunately, we weren't able to do much. You mentioned Marcus. He played his best game of his career so far here. He did an unbelievable job up front. Defense generated 3 turnovers, which was great. Wanted to create field position. But yeah, we had a chance. You look up in the fourth quarter, it's a 1-score game, and ultimately at the end of the day, we didn't coach well enough, we didn't execute well enough, and all that responsibility falls back on me. And got to figure out a way to continue to find plays like that, and the ones we had in the first drive and some throughout, we're just not operating on offense with any level consistency, and we got to block better up front in the run game and the pass game. Got to find the guys who are open and got to give them the ball.
Got a little drive going there. That's Adrian Norton and Bobby Golden. We're going to see that controversial play, and you explained it very well, Coach, in the opening segment, what it was. I think a lot of Zip fans question that, but the right call. And again, we're watching with 9:07 left to go. We've got the football. It's 23-10. We score here, and it's, what, 23-17, and a long way to go.
Yeah, we're driving. We're right there. We're at the 20, 19-yard line. You know, punch that thing in, kick it off, and, you know, play some great defense and hope to get it back. But unfortunately, that nope, didn't happen.
Another turnover, and we've got it back.
Real good hustle play there by Fish, and Kabosh Richard playing his first game of the season. He did a really nice job with Cam Cheatham going down, filling in there.
One thing we also talked about after the game, Coach, I know you're frustrated with the run game right now. You're throwing the ball pretty well, I think, but trying to offset that with the running game.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, once again, great leaders look in the mirror, not out the window, and they point thumbs, not fingers. So calling the offense, you know, I got to figure out a way to maximize our strengths and minimize the things that we need to work on the most. But as any play caller will tell you, it's difficult to call plays when you have pitches that are wide open or bubble screens or runs that you can't block for a yard. So I've just got to be more creative and figure out different ways to kind of move the ball to take advantage of the things we do well.
Have things pretty much solidified on the offensive line? Same group now is pretty well set to go forward, or are you still kind of experimenting a little bit? Or?
I mean, we're going to keep working the rotations and you know, the playing time until we find a group that's going to be able to consistently help us run the ball and protect the passer. So until that happens on a you know, weekly basis during a game, you know, there's competition at every position, but we got to certainly find the right mix there.
Gotcha. Zips lose a tough one down in Athens. We're going to take a break, come back with segment 3 when the Zips talk about some of the top individual performances this past Saturday. So don't go away. We're back with more Zips Weekly right after this.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes E.H. Roberts Heating and Cooling. Find them at ehroberts.com.
Come on over and check out what we're doing. Let's go! Here we go now.
Okay, welcome back to Zips Weekly with head football coach Joe Moorhead. Another reminder, the Zips back home Saturday afternoon, Bowling Green, 3:30 kickoff. It's homecoming. Hope to see a lot of blue and gold in the stands on Saturday afternoon. Right now, let's talk to the coach about some of the top individual performances from Saturday's game down in Ohio. I mentioned this in the early segment, Coach. Special teams, you have done a great job. Where special teams was last year to where it is this year. Dante Jackson, Garrison Smith, Avery Book, those three guys can play anywhere. They're really doing a great job.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, you know, Coach Tuck did a nice job kind of laying the foundation and had an opportunity for another position and promoted Coach Mavico, who had been an unpaid, you know, volunteer analyst for us, and he's just taken he's taken control, and he's, number one, made great evaluations in the recruiting process to bring these guys in here, and you know, has done a great job with scheme and you know, putting the guys in position to be successful. So I'm excited to see a young coach get an opportunity and take advantage of it and see his unit perform well.
You mentioned, Coach, you don't like to see us punt that much, if at all, but Avery Book, 7 punts, averaging 47 yards Saturday at Ohio.
Yeah, he had 6 kicks, did a real nice job, and you know, that's part of the thing that you got to reflect on as a head coach and say, you know, what do we need to do to win the game? You know, if we're not going to be able to score a ton of points, and you know, we got to play complementary football, and part of that is using your you know, special teams to win the hidden yardage battle. You know, whether it be punts or kickoffs or the return units or the field goals, and you know, in close games like that, it's good to have a kid kick the ball like that.
I think we mentioned our tight end, Jake Newell, every week. Another great week down in Athens. 8 receptions, 1 touchdown, doing a great job. You mentioned early on you want him to catch the ball and make yards after the catch. He's starting to do that right now.
Yeah, Coach Reno, he always, Coach Free always emphasizes not to let the first man get you down, and that's not something that Jake had done well. And they've been, working it in practice. And he's a big, strong, physical kid. It's fairly athletic, so he, has done a much better job of creating yards after contact. And like I said, this is another great example of a portal kid who maybe didn't have the opportunity at the big school to come in and make an impact at a new place. Adrian
Norton continues to be maybe the number 1 guy. He's getting open, he's getting the football to him.
Yeah, I mean, you think about, AD stepping up as a first-year starter, and you kind of forget the fact that your first-team All-League guy and best receiver hasn't. We haven't had Alex Adams all season, and you lose a guy like Josiah Gathings to the portal, who was a 60, 70 catch guy last year, and we weren't able to retain him. And a couple other guys on defense. But yeah, we're talented at the receiving core, but without Alex on the field, we're very inexperienced. So we're, and that's kind of where you get with where college football is right now.
Sure.
That you have to, work through some of them growing pains, unfortunately, because of the transient nature of the profession.
We've talked a lot, Coach, about how tough it is to recruit defensive linemen, get depth in the defensive line. You had 2 new defensive linemen in there Saturday, Zy Brockington and Dimitri Madden. I thought they played well at times.
They did, and I think Coach Wortman has done a really nice job in the evaluation process, particularly with the interior defensive linemen. As you mentioned, that's the hardest to recruit with Lama and Marcus Moore is a young guy, and Nathan Kapongo. Prophet's been getting some time. I hope I'm not missing anybody. And then Madden and Brockington getting their first crack at it. So that's as deep as we've been on the interior in my 3 years here.
You mentioned Marcus Moore a few minutes ago, Coach. I watched him play a lot of high school football down at Massillon. By the way, he's a big fan of the TV show. He never misses it. So hello there, Marcus. But he's doing a good job for you.
He is, and obviously that program is one of the tops in the country. And to go through there, you're essentially, playing in a college-like program before you go to college. Coach Moore and his staff do a phenomenal job, and the opportunity to recruit Marcus and get to know his family. There's a reason why he performs the way he does. He's just a great kid who works hard, an awesome teammate, and his success isn't much of a surprise.
I bring up Brian McCoy. He had 14 tackles. He had 1 he wishes he had back into the sidelines there at Ohio, but I can't default the effort he gives every week for you, Coach.
Yeah, Brian flies around, a guy with a ton of energy. Unfortunately had 1, penalty there on the sideline, which we turned in. He got blatantly pushed in the back, out of bounds, 4 or 5 yards out of bounds, and that didn't get thrown, and he turned around and reacted emotionally. So we got to cut those things out. But part of what makes Brian a great player is that fire and that emotion. We just got to make sure we keep it under control and in check. But between he and Fish, those guys are making a ton of tackles this year.
Talked a lot about the secondary. Paul Lewis, a kid that transferred from Cornell, had 6 tackles. He's back there. I haven't mentioned him a lot during the TV shows, but what kind of job's he doing?
Yeah, obviously a kid who comes from Cornell, graduate, taking advantage of his last year of eligibility, doing a good job right now, kind of in coverage. We got to give him to be a little bit more aggressive, kind of trust his athleticism and trust his speed, work a little bit more on open field tackling. Like I said, he's one of the guys who was part of that 25 misses, but for his first crack at it at this level, Paul's done a nice job, particularly with Damon David going down.
Ben Finley was scrambling a lot during that second half, Coach, trying to make something happen. They did have some decent numbers passing the football, but, boy, he was backpedaling a lot in that second half.
Yeah, and part of that's protection, and part of that, you can't get gun shy. You got to, trust it and assume that it's going to be there and step up and find the dead areas in the pocket. But I think we've shown when we have time and when we get open, we've been able to deliver the ball, with accuracy. We got to do a much better job protecting it. The first interception was an egregious mistake. You just got to throw that thing out of bounds. The second one, the little bit of a mistiming deal, and the safety drove on it, made the play. But when we protect, we run a route, we get open. Ben's done a nice job, but he's got to play his part in protection as well, and stepping it up and throwing the ball away when necessary.
Okay, we're going to take our final break. When we come back, a scouting report on Bowling Green. They're only 1-3, but boy, their schedule's been as tough as Akron's. We'll talk about the Falcons right after this.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
Here, let me show you how this works.
it takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes E.H. Roberts Heating and Cooling. Find them at ehroberts.com.
Dear Dr. Roque, thank you for being an amazing faculty member at the University of Akron. I have definitely become a better version of myself throughout my time at UA with your help.
Wow. Thank you. It's all about the students. They're more than just names on tests.
He has been really there for me. There are people that are there to help you understand, whether it's material in a class or it's just life advice.
Gotcha.
Well, our weekly scouting report brought to you by the Akron Fairlawn Hilton Hotel. This week it's Bowling Green coming right here at InfoCision Stadium for homecoming to take on the Zips. 3:30 kickoff. Hope to see, as I said, a lot of blue and gold in the stands. Should be a lot of fans coming over from Bowling Green, so it should be a great atmosphere. Hope to see you Saturday at 3:30. Coach, right now let's talk about Bowling Green. As I said, 1-3, but what a misleading record that is. They beat Fordham, your alma mater, in week 1. Then they lost to Penn State 34-27, lost to Texas A&M 26-20, lost in the last minute last week to Old Dominion. Very deceiving 1-3 record.
Yeah, you could throw the records out with this. Bowling Green coming in. Coach Leffler's done a great job, kind of slowly but steadily building this thing up. Through recruiting and development. And as you mentioned, a one-score game, 2 different times to 2 Power 5 programs. A win over the old Rams there, and then Old Dominion scored on the last drive of the game to win it. Bowling Green was winning majority of that fourth quarter. So, always a challenge to play the Falcons, and certainly this week won't be any different.
They've got an outstanding quarterback, a young man that's in his 3rd school. He started at Missouri, went to Indiana, now at Bowling Green. Connor Bazelak, 28 out of 37 for 303 yards, 2 TDs. That's the last game. We've seen him before, Coach. He's a good quarterback.
He's a very good player. And kind of like Ben, 2 different Power 5 schools, and found his niche. And they worked a kind of hybrid pro style system with some spread elements to it. And he does a good job getting the ball to the playmakers. But at the end of the day, this offense runs through the tight end, Fannin, and through the running back. And there may not be a better tight end in the country at any level than this Fannin kid. He's something special.
Yeah, I watched him play at Canton McKinley. Coach, 6'4", about 248, something like that. Had 12 receptions for 188 yards against Old Dominion. I think he has 37 catches for the season. You can line him up in the slot tight end. He's that good. Yeah,
matchup issue, speed, great hands, capable blocker. But, certainly a guy that they are very creative in the ways that they get him the ball, and, most definitely a game wrecker. We got to find a way. I don't know you're going to stop him completely, but you got to find a way to contain the guy.
Exactly. They got a good running back too, Coach. Terry and Stewart, 5'9", 225. Can't forget about him.
Yeah, there were some. I'm not sure he's a guy that got in the portal and then got back out, but I'm sure they were glad to keep him around. But he's a big, strong, physical guy, runs behind his pads, and we saw in the game last year he not only can run you over, he can make you miss too.
Exactly. They've got 7 starters back on defense from 1 year ago. Defense, I think, has 12 sacks for the season. You've looked at some tape, Coach. What do they do defensively that concerns you a little bit?
Yeah, they play primarily a 4-down front. They'll mix in some 3-down looks with a base 2 high coverage structure. But I mean, going through the scouting report, you go one guy to the next across the board, and it's 30 career starts, 40 career starts. This is a unit with a lot of experience. They play hard. The 2 defensive ends really compress the pocket and do a great job stopping the run. Both linebackers are incredibly active, and the left corner, number 1, Oladikin, I believe that's how you pronounce it. He's probably the top corner in the MAC, if not one of the best.
You've mentioned a couple times, Coach, they've done it the right way up at Bowling Green, built the program probably the way you should build one.
Yeah, and they're starting to, reap some of the rewards of patience and time, and like you said, they've got some resources there that they're able to get guys and keep them around and continue to develop them. So a lot of credit to Coach Leffler for kind of, like you said, taking a thing step by step and building it slowly.
Exactly. Coach, best of luck. Homecoming game against Bowling Green. We'll see you at InfoCision Stadium Saturday. For the coach, I'm Joe Dunn. Always remember, go Zips.
This has been a presentation from Learfield IMG College.